I'm your host, Eric Crow Draven. It's official. Welcome to the Cipher. Welcome. I've been expecting you. I have. To whom it may concern, they say life is about choices. When you want better, you put yourself in a position to do better. You see, I come from a place where those who look like me don't often make it past their 18th birthday alive or without a jail record. Maybe I shouldn't be writing this, but music, the streets, and sports, we look as a way out of our poverty. Dysfunctional families, failing public education system with uninspired teachers and invisible role models. Experience builds character. It is the windows to my past that reminds me of who I was and where I'm from compared to who I am, what I've accomplished.
Let's take it to the streets. Take it to the streets.
Let's go in. All right. What has poetry done for you?
Poetry has given me a voice and an outlet, and another way to show the world that you can't judge a book by its cover, because people look at me and trust and believe when I walk into a place, the last thing they think I'm gonna do is spit some poetry.
Poetry has done a lot for me. Poetry has helped me put a lot of things into perspective. Poetry has forced me to look at myself in the mirror. A lot of things that I've neglected, a lot of things that I like to believe didn't happen to me or didn't affect me a certain type of way. Poetry has made me look at that shit head on. All right, you grew from this, you learned from it. Tell somebody else to do this shit. That's what poetry has done for me. Put everything in retrospect.
I'm still alive, so it has kept my blood in my veins and not dramatically around a bathtub somewhere, you know.
I think it's preserved me. There was a time, there was no one I could talk to. Me and Mom didn't have the best relationship, and by the same time, I had all these emotions that had to come out, and what it allowed me to do was, put a vision to my subconscious and everything I was going through at the time in my youth, and so poetry did it for me.
We wear many hats in our lives. What hat that you wear has been the most rewarding, and why?
Well, that's simple. My hat is an educator, because when you make that decision to teach individuals, it's been youth for the most of my life, but when you decide to become a teacher, you've already dedicated to help others. So ain't no more important hat than that one.
It would be the newest hat, which is CEO of Untamed Talent, only because it's given me a plateau to give other people a chance to express themselves in a way that's not censored, because as you know, with a lot of poetry, open mics and things like that, it's a lot of cookie cutter type of poetry, and if you do certain styles, it's not accepted. Where with us and our shows, we don't care how you spit it, just spit it. As long as it's from the heart, we gonna feel it.
New Fitteds, I love them. I love fucking Fitteds. 7 and 7/8. They just come in all kinds of cool colors. I got a Lids card in my pocket. It gives me 30% off of $1,000. I wish they weren't so expensive, but they're really fucking nice. So.
No doubt, I appreciate it. How did the presence or absence of your father affect your journey?
It made me very critical of myself. So in that, it's a catch-22, because I can do a show and it can be a good show, or the group can have a good show, and I can't really enjoy that because I'm focusing on the things that went wrong or the things that we could have improved on so that we have a better show or a better performance or write better verses or whatever.
And that's a result of his absence or presence?
I think it's a result of his absence, because it's a simple fact, in growing up, you don't have that male to look towards for that approval. So you begin to look towards your male friends, and a lot of them are just the wrong type. So you become conditioned to just doing things for approval of the males around you, but they're not old enough to tell you that the things you're doing is stupid. So it's just a lot of trial and error, as KL was saying. So I've never had no one tell me it's all right, you did your best. So with that, it made me just, overthink a lot of stuff.
Oh man, so you got a couch, man? We got a couple of minutes. Not having my father made me rely on myself for learning a lot of things, because there's only so much a mother and grandmother can show you. It also hurt a lot because I had to learn a lot of things by trial and error. And the last thing a young boy wants to go out there and do is error in a lot of areas that could really be heartfelt. And so I had to suffer through that like a lot of brothers here in New York. As I grew, I started to learn that having a father is a wonderful thing, but it's not the end all or be all. Is it a better thing? Yes. But so I had to really learn how to stand on my own 2 feet. And when I finally got a chance to meet him, I realized that the same blood that was in him flowed through me. So there was a reason why I ended up the way I did, because he ended up the way he did. It's the same thing.
He, bless his heart, his father was a violent man. He was a violent man. My older brother became the same violent man. He reminded me that it's hard to say what came first, violence or work, because he clearly was really fucking pissed from work every day and took it out on us a lot. And it reminds you to try, doesn't mean you can, but try to love people even through their violence sometimes, even though that sounds horribly enabling. But that they're human at the end of the day, and they were human at the start of the day. So that's what I learned from my dad.
They say that movie gives insight to how a person views themselves in their lives. What is your favorite movie and why?
Oh man, I'm a movie junkie, so that's a hard question. So going through the Rolodex, I'm gonna keep it real simple. I'm gonna say Pursuit of Happiness. And part of that is because there's no way that Chris Gardner knew when he was laying in the bus station or train station with his son that he'd end up a multi-millionaire. So his only push was the drive within inside of him. So he knew he needed something better. He didn't know what the better was going to be. So because of that, he kept pushing. Eventually, he ended up a millionaire. So that's one of my favorites because it really questions who are you at the heart of everything.
Children of Men. I love Children of Men because even though it's supposed to be a dystopian future flick, the world after people, it's very much the world today and the world before. It was the world that Columbus made, so I like how future past it is. And we're still stuck in that hell, so.
Hands down, my favorite movie is Usual Suspects. And I gotta be honest, it's because you sit through all of this and you think you know exactly who Kaiser Sosak was, when the actual person who he was pulling the strings. And it's funny because in a lot of ways in my life, it resembles that, because people will look at me and they'll think, oh, he did these, that, and they wouldn't know that I'm a practicing professional. They wouldn't know that, my talents go the way they do. Well, maybe now because of King of Paper Chasing, but prior to that, they wouldn't have known all of the things that my talents have gotten me. So I'm not just a fat kid from up the block who looked like he probably sold your family some work.
You know what?
I'm just saying. The church people not gonna see this, right?
I don't know. I can't guarantee that.
I can't let my pastor,
Praise Jesus.
Yeah. Shout out to Pastor like your TI is. Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
Welcome.
All right, gentlemen. Welcome to the Cipher.
Not to say my favorite rapper, but I will not lose my favorite quote. But what you're about to witness is the realest thing I ever wrote. Now that I have your attention, let me explain myself. I may not have $1 to my name, but with God, I have wealth. Please pay me attention. I'm doing this for my health, you see. I'm about to explain why I'm full of conceit. Because I never lose even defeat. I always be on top even if you cheat. Though I started with a felony charge, I was almost hit. At 14 and guilty, faced 25 years. That's when grown man But not trying to dwell on things, but I just can't leave in the past. But being black from Brooklyn without my biological father, I had to grow up fast. So a lot of times growing up, I felt all alone. At 14, I lost my virginity, so I swore I was grown. I cried when I said I loved her. She lied, she said she loved me. She's wondering how the kids say it. Boom. So I went straight through high school, acquired a lot of knowledge. Remember, I thought I was grown until I got to college. I chose to go to Clark Atlanta in the dirty South. I couldn't wait. Since my smile and honor roll status, I was ready. On my own, I stumbled out of the gate. I did everything except go to class. My GPA was a 0.8. So I came back to New York and was doing better. Feeling really proud of myself, I threw away the suicide letter. So I was doing good, at least I tried. Till January 19, 2003, that's the day I died. I was in deep coma for 11 days. I came back to life with my mother and God my side. But look at me now. You see why I'm full of conceit. Because I get stronger with every last defeat. I mention my greatest victory, and then I'm done. I'm not gonna get into my son's mother. I now pay homage to Darnell, Rayshawn, Pelzer Jr. He's not always when I love him, my son. Food for thought. Learn from whatever decision you choose. I did. With that, I will not lose.
I am all things and nothing, yet shaper of dreams, like the line that divides the seen and unseen. And the vastest in time is the oneness in me, surveyor of truth, suspender of galaxies. I'm like the substance in ether. I permeate time, shuffling stars into astrological signs. For past is present and future, that's me. Dispelling your pseudo-Greek mythology, for I span infinity, like infinity is one. Erector of the zenith, house of the sun, I am the everlasting night, the Trinity, the God, the Father, the Negro, all three. Vision of light in the darkness, I am. Power that rage in the darkness, I am. Glory that shines in the darkness, I am. For I am, yes, I am. For I am darkness, absence of light, celestial energy, the brilliance of night. I'm the cradle of civilization, the voice of a nation, the Alpha, the Omega, the beginning, and again, I am. You, me, we, fountains of power, uncharted C4. All of the untold mysteries are watered down convergence of mystical me, conjured ethnic chants, cosmic mystical lines, swaying to an ensemble of celestial vibes, bursting with energy, transcending all times, spinning the fluid of life with a hype. I'm the vision of tomorrow, dread of today, ill-fated yesterday. I am your salvation. To God, me, we pray. I'm the reminder of injustice, the root of all ill, the servant before you, the power within the super ego and the id, the builder of pyramids, the true giver of life. I'm the proverbial symbol of darkness in light. So I am.
That is Cipher. Them say that me advocate race and terrorism because me say me come here to come destroy this wicked, evil, devilish, white capitalist system. So now them a shiver because me attack the truth that the original man come from African roots. And through me expose them evil empire and show my people and my teeth and lie and them want me dead. Even after my own black people I try to get the bounty what them put on my head. But yet when I walk through these concrete jungles, in the shadows of death, me not fear them threat because me a walking on the Most High, God Jehovah Rastafari footstep. Me say me survive the ship of the good ship, Jesus crossed the ocean, live and do the punishment of them Ku Klux Klan, walk off them plantation and now me sit down and watch them a build them atomic bomb, holding the world at gunpoint in the fear of nuclear destruction, laying genocide and landmine for the African, distributing them AIDS virus via polio, chicken pox and yellow fever vaccine, giving $1,000,000 aid packet to so-called third world countries in the form of AK-47 and M16. So now, after 400 years of oppression, me know them plot and me know them scheme, so me not trust no more shadow of the dark. I say, this time we're ready for them bomb clot. So me say, come make we lick some shot off the Babylon, come make we lick some shot off the Babylon, but the elders them who still worship a foreign god, me say them can't understand. So when me talk, me say them face flinch and agony. Them say, boy, you are used to much profanity, but that them same one raised me in this European society by the river of Babylon, where we can't sing Jaja song, but they want me to do it, want me to turn coward and turn the other cheek. But look what them did to brother Martin Luther, and all he wanted was equal rights and justice between brother and sister. So now I and I don't care about no award and no Nobel Prize. I go and use my mouth like an AK-47 for close Babylon blood clot eyes. Yeah! Rastafari.
Today, I come before you, a product of my past, outliving many of my failures and my elders. Let today be the testimony of persistence and faith.
So my first question to you is, if your life was a reality show, what would it be entitled and what would we see?
An adventure. I had no idea when I started my life that it would certainly end this way, because I always wanted to be a lawyer. And then when my mom died, that completely went away, and I decided to do the thing that I was very good at all my life, which was writing. But I never thought that I could do it as a career, and I had a 33-year career as a journalist. And certainly I never saw after that ended that this would happen, that I would be the producer of a spoken word poetry series. So it's just been an amazing adventure, but I enjoy the ride, no matter where it takes me.
Okay. Well, you spoke about spoken word. So to you, what is poetry? What is spoken word?
You know what? It's one of the great dilemmas. How to define each art form, and I think poetry. Poetry is what you hear. No one can tell you what poetry is. If you hear poetry, that's poetry. I think spoken word is more broad-based. Spoken word could be anything. It could be comedy. The thing that I like about our series now is that we've expanded where spoken word could be music, it could be songwriting, it could be strict poetry,
storytelling.
Yeah, it could be anything. Spoken word is a very broad term. I think when you say the word poetry, what it means to people, not necessarily what it means to me, but what it means to people in the broad sense is page poetry, form, alliteration, rhythm. I think it means certain. It doesn't. But if you look at the definition, it doesn't have to be any of those things. But I think when people think of poetry, that's what they think of. Whereas I think spoken word is more. It's more open.
What impact did the presence or absence of your father have on your life?
Oh, my father was very present. I'm very lucky. I hear all these poems, especially from young ladies, talking about absent fathers, and it really hurts me. I just can't imagine a father abandoning a child. My father was the best father in the whole world. He was a lawyer and could have easily been sucked up by his career and made a ton of money, but my father chose to make weekends sacred. So he never did anything on Saturday and Sunday, no matter how much work he had. He always saved Saturday and Sunday for his daughter and his son. And we did great things. We went to the beach. We played ball. I'm so blessed. I had the best mother and father you can possibly imagine.
Wow, beautiful. What is the most expensive thing you have ever given away for free?
Oh God. I don't even know. I enjoy giving. It's one of the things that I enjoy doing. But I don't know. I don't have an answer for that question. It's a great question. But I think generosity is just so important in life. Well, sharing. My life has really been about sharing. Not necessarily in terms of money or gifts, but in knowledge and wisdom and compassion. Those things are very important to me. We need to be people who care about other people. And there's not enough of that going around. And I even use the spoken word series to create a community of people that share. Like what we're doing right now downstairs is we have an after party. After the open mic is over, an after party where people could just talk and share with each other.
Excellent. What does happy look like, feel like, and taste like?
Happiness is doing the thing that your heart tells you to do. If you listen to your heart and follow your heart, you'll always be happy. We all know when we do things that don't feel quite right, and when we do it and it turns out wrong, we always say, I knew it. So follow your heart. It's the advice. Whenever anybody asks me for writing advice, I say, follow wherever your heart takes you. If it takes you to poetry, great. If it takes you to journalism, it takes you to short stories, but go where your heart knows where to go at all times.
Right. If you could delete someone from your journey, who would it be? Who would you replace them with, and why?
I try not to hate, so there are negative, in general, I won't get into specifics, but in general, just eliminating negative people who always give you what you can't do. There have been, in all our lives, I'll give you one example. I had an English teacher in high school who told me to give up writing. Don't consider it a career because you don't really have talent to do that. And I often wanted to go back to him after I had published my 10,000th story that I guess he was wrong. But I wouldn't have eliminated him from my life because he was a great motivation. I wanted to prove him wrong. It devastated me for a day or two.
Right.
But after that, I really wanted to prove him wrong. And I think with every story, I did. You see? You see? You see? So, but eliminating negative people, I've done that my whole life. If somebody's negative, I don't care how, they could even be blood. I get rid of them. I have no tolerance for negative people, for hatred and hostility and mean-spiritedness. I have no patience for that. You know, I think sometimes, you know, we let blood stand in the way. We give blood second and third chances. But we can create our own families. True. You know, I've created families that are not blood, that are closer to me than blood ever was. So, yeah, just eliminating negative people and including beautiful, positive people.
I agree. You've worn so many hats in your life. Up until this point, what hat have you worn that has been the most successful and the most rewarding thus far?
Teaching. I love teaching. I've done a lot of workshops for writers, and you know, I read a lot of information out there because, you know, young writers, they're great talents. There's a lot of great talent out there, but they just don't know how to make writing a career. How do I make this my life rather than having to work in a Starbucks or a diner or a gasoline station or in a bank? They want to be writers full time, and that's all I ever did. I was never, my entire adult life, all I did was write. And so, and I don't know how, I didn't know how I did it until now. Now I know how to do it, but I was just feeling my way every step of the way, just trying to keep doing what I was doing. I thought it would last 1 year, then thought it would last 5, then 10. I said, boy, if I could ever do it 10, and now I did it for 33 years. So I love sharing that information and seeing on a young writer that face when I give them ideas how to make this a career. There's just like to open up their universe and say, wow, yeah, that might work. So yeah, I think teaching, you know, with all the stories I've published, with the series that I created, I love teaching. I love sharing, especially with young people under the age of 21. I love the fresh talent and being able to open their eyes up to a whole new world.
If today was your last day, how would you like to be remembered?
I was no bullshit. I'm not a bullshit person, you know. I think in my life I've created very strong friendships and very strong enemies. And it's because I take stands. I'm not afraid to take a stance. I'm not a bullshit artist. And when I feel something, I feel it strongly. But everything I do is coming from a good place in my heart, with sincerity, wanting to do good things. But again, I won't tolerate any negative people in the way. I'll just push them out of the way. And I'm not afraid to tell negative people that I don't want them around me or what I do.
If there's one word that you can use to describe your journey, what would it be?
Passionate. Everything I've done has been done 100%. I don't do anything less than that. You know, it's my gift and my curse. You know, because I give so much to what I do, sometimes a girlfriend or a sister, they lose out because I'm giving so much to that thing. But I do everything. I did my journalism with absolute passion, day and night. This inspired word series, I give to it, as I'm sure you realize. I give day and night. And when I did my workshops, I prepared like an animal. I really wanted to give people, you know, I had students come from around the country to go to a 3-hour workshop that I was doing in New York City. I found that incredible that somebody would fly in from Wisconsin or Iowa or Virginia just for my 3. I said, what else are you doing no, this is it. This is why I'm here. And I felt such a great responsibility that I worked really hard to give them the best 3-hour workshop they ever had. So it's passion. I do everything with absolute 100% passion.
Beautiful. And with that being said, I thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My yesterdays has given me hope for today. I see you in the future. My my last rites. I'ma do something y'all ain't never heard me do. It's Crow. What else would you expect, baby? In the blink of midnight. In the blink of midnight. Everything can change. In the blink of midnight. Just in that blink. In the blink of midnight. I woke up today. Mind on my money, I got bills to pay. I work too damn hard for it to stay the same. Lord knows there gotta be a better way. Don't wanna bet my freedom, they'll take it away. So I say, fight for what's yours.